hands together, yeah. God is great, and I know that I am great. God is great. God is great, and I know that I am great. I am great. You are great. We are great. Oh, God is love. Oh, la 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 know that I am great, that I am great. You are great, and we are great. Oh, God is love. Oh, la 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 la. And God is great. So, oh, God is love, sweet love. I love you, and love, we are love. I know I am. 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 I am. I am. God is great. God is great. So I am great. So I am great. God is great. God is great. So I am great. So I am. God is great. So great, and I am great. God is love. God is love. So I am love. So I am love. God is love. God is love. So I am love. So I am. God is love. Love, and I am love. Put your hands together. God is great, and I am great. God is great, and I am great. God is peace. God is peace. So I have peace. God is peace. God is peace. So I have peace. God is peace. Peace. Oh, I have peace. Oh, God is great. So I am great. God is great. So I am great. God is great. And I know that I am great. I am great. Yeah. Hello, hello. Happy Sunday, beautiful people. It is so very good to be here with you as we gather together to celebrate the magnificence and significance of the presence and power of God operating in, through, and as you, operating in, through, and as each and every one of us. We are going to begin, as we always do, with prayer. And I want to ground us in a reading today from 60 Meditations for a Mindful Life, a meditation and a reading from Ernest Holmes, particularly to speak to the moment that we're in. And we who believe in freedom, we who are New Thought practitioners and metaphysicians recognize something, that when things are going on in the world, it's our opportunity to put the focus of our attention on what it is that we want. There are a lot of people hearing news reports and calling it different things and
creating what they don't want. But we recognize that there are actions that have been taking place in the world, and now we get to polarize our hearts and our minds and our thoughts in the direction that we want it to go. And so this is a prayer for world peace. I know there is only one mind, which is the mind of God, in which all people live and move and have their being. I know there is a divine pattern for humanity, and within this pattern, there is infinite harmony and peace, cooperation, unity, and mutual helpfulness. I know that the mind of humankind, being one with the mind of God, will discover the method, the way, and the means best fitted to permit the flow of divine love between individuals and nations. Thus, harmony, peace, cooperation, unity, and mutual helpfulness will be experienced by all. I know that there will be a free interchange of ideas, of cultures, of spiritual concepts, of ethics, of educational systems, and scientific discoveries, because all good belongs to all alike. I know that because the divine mind has created us all, we are bound together in one infinite and perfect unity. In bringing about world peace, I know that all people and all nations will remain individual but unified for the common purpose of promoting peace, happiness, harmony, and prosperity. I know that deep within every person, the divine pattern of perfect peace is already implanted. I now declare that in each person and in each leader of thought everywhere, this divine pattern moves into action and form, to the end that all nations and all people will live together in peace, harmony, and prosperity forever. So it is now. And so from this place of awareness, I invite you to get still and close your eyes, and let's take a collective breath in. And we exhale. Together we breathe in. Together we breathe out. Sinking deeper in mind, we take a conscious breath in and a conscious breath out. There is only one mind, only one power, only one presence that is working in all, through all, and as all. There is one life. That life is Mother, Father, God. That life is perfect, whole, and complete. And that life is my life now. And that life is your life now. And that life is our life now. And that life is all life now. It is the life of everything. It is the life of every raindrop. It is the life of every cloud. It is the life of the thunder and of the lightning. It is the life of every mountain and every sea. It is the life of every river and every tree. It is the life of all, and it is our life now. And as I recognize this truth, I recognize that God is right here and right now, for God neither comes nor goes. The allness that God is neither comes nor goes. The divine power, presence, peace, love neither comes nor goes. It is always right here and right now. And as I recognize that this power and presence is and is right here, right now, I recognize that you are, that we are, and we are right here, right now, for we live, move, and have our being in God, and God lives, moves, and has its expression, its activity in, through, and as us. What God is in the large, we are in the small. God is the ocean, the vast eternal ocean, and we are the active wave. And so it is out of this awareness, recognizing our oneness with God. It is out of this awareness, recognizing that God is and God is now. It is out of this awareness of recognizing that we are individualized, particularized, unique, undivided expressions of the divine, that I speak this word of good. I speak this word in faith. I speak this word with expectancy. I speak this word with absolute knowing. I am grateful and thankful for Celebration Spiritual Center. I am grateful and thankful for the lighthouse that Celebration Spiritual Center is. I am grateful and thankful for the metaphysical charging station that Celebration Spiritual Center is. I am grateful for the ways in which CSC enlightens and enlivens. I am grateful and thankful for the ways in which CSC stands as a beacon of light and hope. I am grateful and thankful for the ways in which CSC continues to embolden and empower each and every one of us to live our greatest lives with purpose and on purpose. And so as we have gathered here today, as we have gathered here as one community connected through one mind and as with one purpose, I recognize that we will leave here differently than when we walked in. I believe and know that we will leave here enlightened and enlivened. I believe here and know that we will leave here prosperous and prospering. I believe that we will leave here knowing that we are worthy, worthy, worthy. And so it is out of this awareness that I now release this prayer. I release it back into the law, which is always in operation, responding and becoming according to the pattern of thought that we provide. This pattern of thought that we have provided today is constructive. This pattern is loving. This pattern is life-giving and life-supporting. This pattern is creative. This pattern is full of worthiness. And so it must be, and so it must be, and so it must be. From this place of awareness, we lift up our voices and we say, Amen.
Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
And so it is.
So it is.
And so it is. Yes, yes. Well, hello again. Happy Sunday, beautiful people. I'm Pastor Greg.
I'm Pastor Yolanda.
And it's wonderful to be here with you on this Sunday as we gather together to do what we do as a community, continue to learn the truth, practice the truth, exercise the truth, expand our hearts and our minds so that we can live out that truth in our own individual, unique, powerful, and progressive ways. If you are a first-time guest, hello, welcome to Celebration Spiritual Center. We are so happy that you're here. However you got here, whether it was via the algorithm or if someone invited you, it's no mistake that you're here. And we're confident that something will be done, something will be said that will support you in your life, that will support you in thriving and living an empowered life. We love to say the first time you come to CSC, you're a guest, but when you come back, you're family. So welcome to the CSC family. Now, the information you see there on your screen is how you access your digital connection card. That's your way to stay in touch with us and for us to stay in touch with you. All you have to do is text the keyword welcome to that phone number, 347-472-1078, and you'll receive a link. Click that link. It'll take you to the digital connection card, enter your information. We just need your name and your email address, and then you'll be added to our mailing list. You'll receive all our weekly newsletter that goes out on Fridays and all other correspondence related to what's happening at CSC. And of course, you can reply to any of those emails if you want to get in touch with us. For those that are outside of the U.S. or for some reason are unable to text this phone number, whether you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, if you look at the full description of the post, you might have to open up the description to see the full description. You'll see that there's a link there. You can click that link. That'll take you directly to the digital connection card. Again, complete the information. We just need your name and your email address, and you're all set. But again, we're happy that you're here, and we're confident that you'll receive something powerful as a result of being here. And you can feel free, if you like, in the comments to let us know where you're connecting in from, because you may find that there's someone in your city, state, or country that is connected right here and now with you where you are, because CSC is a global community. So from this place of awareness, this is a wonderful opportunity for us to tap into our news and updates so that we can move forward with the meditation, with our Healing Sunday prayer, and then we can get into chapter 4 for this week's masterclass. Hello, summer. It is summertime. It's a wonderful time of fun and sun and good things happening. And so we trust that you will enjoy the summer season. As I always love to say, summer is the time for inspired action. Spring and summer are our external seasons. They are the seasons of activity. We see it in the earth, right? This is when the earth bursts forth in flowers. This is when the earth bursts forth with more sunshine. And so you can use this time to take inspired action, because there's already this wonderful energy that's aligned. So whatever you're thinking about, whether you've been planning to release something or launch something or start something, use this energy in an inspired way to do that, because that's what the summer season is all about. It is the fourth Sunday, which means it is Healing Sunday. I'm excited. We have a wonderful Healing Sunday share to share with you that we received a few weeks ago. We didn't have service on the fourth Sunday last Sunday, so I'm happy that last month, sorry. Yeah, so I'm happy that we're back in the vibration of Healing Sunday. If you or someone you know is in need of healing, call them into the space, send them the link, have them join this stream right now so that they can be a part of this and jump into the pool of healing. If you have a prayer request, you can send your prayer request to prayerchampions@celebrationsc.org. We are always holding the entire community in our hearts and our minds, knowing the highest and best for you. And we recognize you may have a specific prayer request. We recognize that you may want to submit a prayer request on behalf of someone else. all good. Send it to Prayer Champions at celebration.sc.org. And when your prayer is answered, when there's a shift, when there's a miracle, when something good happens, let us know. Send that prayer, that prosperity report to Prayer Champions at celebration.sc.org. Every Wednesday morning, we gather together for the Momentum Prayer Call at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is your way to be intentional about the middle of your week as we start our day with prayer. It's a wonderful way to continue the momentum that we create here on Sundays in the weekend service. All you have to do is call in and wait. We share a reading, we pray, we move on with our day. But if for some reason you're not able to make the call live, which I highly encourage you to, the prayer is recorded. And so you can use the playback number you see there on your screen and access the most recent prayer. It will play. All you have to do is call the phone number, enter the access code, wait, and the most recent prayer will play. We are in masterclass mode. This is summer season at CSC, and we are studying the book, Open Your Mind to Prosperity. So if you're just joining us for the very first time or you're not aware of what book we're studying, it is Open Your Mind to Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. We absolutely encourage you to get the book. It is available in print and digital, so you could download it right now if you want to. We're going to go through the text line by line, so if you don't have the book today, it's all good, but you definitely want to be able to get back to it, to refer back to it and study and highlight and do all the wonderful things that we do as we study these texts. The study series of the month is the Dynamic Laws of Prosperity. This is a sermon series that PY and I delivered some years ago, and it is based on the book, The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. That is the first book in her Prosperity Trilogy series. We're studying the second book in the trilogy. So we know and trust that this study series will support you as you continue to keep your mind on prosperity ideas, as you continue to heal anything that needs to be healed around your thinking about prosperity, and continue to call in more prosperity into your life. And of course, it is June. We are still fully in Pride mode, celebrating our LGBTQ plus family. And as we love to say, honored to be your pastors, and always reminding you that CSC is a safe space for you, and we are safe pastors for you, and will continue to be that as we choose to embody unconditional love with and for all beings. So from this place of awareness, we are complete with our news and updates, which means we get to move into the meditation experience as we are led in meditation with PY.
Yes. It is time for the meditation experience, our opportunity to take the things that we're reading and internalize them, integrate them into our daily lived experience, integrate them into every breath we breathe, every sound we hear. And I love that we do more than just read sacred text. We remind ourselves of the connection that we have, and we allow that connection to permeate every cell of our being. And so this month, we are affirming a truth, as always. I am open to receiving all of life's riches. Now, riches is synonymous with prosperity. And prosperity means health, harmony, happiness, ease of all kinds. And so we want to make sure that we're open to it and not in resistance to it, or not thinking things in contradiction to it. And as we move through this month and as we see what's happening in our world, sometimes we become closed to the idea of prosperity. We see what's happening, and then our mind instantly goes to the worst case scenarios. But we want to do something different here today. We want to unfold our arms, uncross our energy, and open to all of life's riches. That includes harmony, that includes peace, and that includes ease. And so today's meditation will flow a little different, because we're not only going to relax and receive it for ourselves because we're open. We're going to send that energy of receptivity out into the world. And from this place of knowing that not only are we safe, but we see and feel and affirm safety for everyone else. We affirm all of life's goodness and riches for everyone else. So let's prepare, shall we? Go ahead and find yourself in a comfortable posture, seated upright with your feet on the floor. Whether you're on a sofa or on a chair, but seated upright, and allow your palms to rest nice and easy on your thighs. And just that simple act of just relaxing the palms onto the tops of the thighs begins to signal that the shoulders can relax. We're not carrying a heavy burden right now. We're just breathing and looking around the room and noticing where we are. We're not in the past. We're not even in the future. We're right here, right now. And we begin to allow our energy to open, and we allow the breath to relax our bodies and our minds. So from this place of receptivity and complete dependence on the flow of breath, allow your eyelids to gently close. And again, we just notice the breath right where it is. And we are in gratitude that the breath signals every cell in our body it can relax. Our brain cells, they can relax. Any part of our body that feels restricted or constricted can relax. Just notice the breath right now. And again, whether the breath appears to be deep or appears to be shallow, it matters not. We place no judgment on the movement of breath. We are just in gratitude that it is moving, that it is flowing, that every cell in our body is receiving what it needs. Let's just do that. Just tune in to that receptivity. And let's amplify that receptivity. As we send the breath deep into the low belly, we take the conscious choice to breathe deep and to allow the breath to move. We're going to breathe in for a count of 4, expanding the low belly. Hold for 4. Relax the jaw and sigh it out for 4. And then allow that openness as we sink deeper and deeper and deeper in mind with all of life's goodness. Let's begin. Inhale. Hold for 4. Relax the jaw and send that relaxation through the body as we exhale for 4. Sigh it out. Sinking deeper and deeper and deeper as our prosperity expands and expands and expands. Dropping the breath low into the belly again, expanding like a big balloon. Holding it there. Relax the jaw nice and easy. Let yourself feel the release. Sigh it out. Sinking deeper and deeper and deeper. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage, expanding the sides of the body. Hold it there. Relax the jaw, release the sound, sigh it out. As the quiet envelops us, we sink deeper and deeper and deeper. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage. We've expanded the sides. Now let's expand the back and the front. Hold it there. Relax the jaw and sigh it out. Let yourself hear and feel the release. And welcome the silence as you sink deeper and deeper. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage, now allowing the breath to rise to the heart chakra, center of the chest. Hold it there. Relax the jaw, release the sound, let it all go. Dropping deeper and deeper and deeper. In through the low belly, up through the rib cage, up through into that heart center, that energy of healing. Hold it there. And without collapsing the body, just release the sound. Let the breath flow out. Dropping deeper into the awareness and receptivity of all of life's riches. Now let's slow it down even more. Inhaling, smooth inhale all the way in and up to the top. And when you reach the top and you're ready to release, close the lips, slow it down for a count of 6, and exhale through the nose. Inhale now for a count of 6. And when you're ready, close the lips, slowing the breath down and exhaling through the nostrils. And sinking deeper and deeper and deeper. This will be our form of breath work for the remainder of our meditative time. In and out through the nostrils, moving at your own pace, but letting the inhale draw in the prosperity, letting the feeling of it move through the body and be released through the nostrils with closed lips. And as we sink deeper with each round of breath, let your feet sink deeper into the earth, so that you are grounded and supported. And let the rest of your body sink deeper into the chair, reminding you that you are grounded and supported. Scan your body and notice if there's tension anywhere. No judgment, just send the breath there. Feeling the support of the seat where you are, the connection to the earth beneath you, and the light of love pouring down through you. Let's bring the hands to the heart center, right hand and left hand on top. And just notice the beating of the heart. As we inhale, we draw more breath and more of life's riches in. And as we exhale, we release that out into the atmosphere. Inhaling, breathing in all of life's riches, letting that circulate in our bodies, and releasing it through the nostrils when we're ready. As we give, we also receive, and as we receive, we give. And so today, from this place of an open heart, an open mind, and an open body, find one person or one place on the earth and send this affirmative thought to them. I am open and receptive to all of life's riches. See, feel, and imagine that energy going out into the earth. I'm open to all of life's harmony. I'm open to all of life's goodness. And as you send it out, see that person receiving it with open arms. Each breath expands our receptivity and our ability to send it out to the person or people or places on the earth. Release the palms down to the tops of the thighs. And as we prepare for our silent time, if the mind wanders, it's okay. Bring it back to the truth. I am open to receive all of life's riches. You are open to receive all of life's riches. We are all open to receive all of life's riches now. With our eyelids still closed, and from this place of receptivity, we remember that giving and receiving are one in truth. What we've given out today, we also receive with our eyelids still closed. We allow this energy of all of life's riches to sink deeper within us so that we experience more peace and prosperity. And with our eyelids still closed, we gently begin to make our return. Not empty-handed, but full of the feeling and the truth of who and whose we are. Let's slowly begin to wake the body now. Inhale, draw the shoulders up by the ears. And as you elongate the body, you notice there's more room for breath, and in fact, more room for life's goodness. Exhale, releasing the shoulder blades back and down. Inhale up. And as we release the shoulder blades back and down, the heart moves forward into its receptive posture, releasing the shoulder blades back and down. Inhale up. Exhale, releasing the shoulder blades back and down. Bring the palms together at heart center, reconnecting to that healing energy of the heart. If you are able, bow the chin towards the fingertips, noticing the opening at the neck and the base of the spine, and all the way down the spine and out the body. Allow the eyelids to gently open. No strain, no rush, just a nice soft gaze. Inhale, raise the chin, raise the gaze, release the breath. Maintain the peace. Namaste.
Yes, yes, namaste. Maintain the peace. Thank you, PY. So it is good to be here on this fourth Sunday, because the fourth Sunday is Healing Sunday at Celebration Spiritual Center. And so there's still time. If you know someone that needs to tap into this healing prayer vibration, no matter what type of healing they're in need of, send them the link right now, invite them, have them jump on in. But what we love to do is also share with you the stories of healing that we're receiving that are happening in the community in powerful and wonderful ways. And so as you hear this, if you also recognize that, oh, wait, I haven't shared my healing story, send that in to Prayer Champions at celebrationsc.org, and we are happy to share that with the community. And so we received this email a few weeks ago. Dear Prayer Champions, my brother-in-law, a Vietnam vet, suffered a severe head injury as a result of falling down a flight of stairs Thanksgiving morning, November 28th, 2024. He clung to life for many weeks, which turned into months. He required around-the-clock care. Most importantly, Joseph Phillips required prayer, and I reached out to CSC's Prayer Champions to join us in praying for his recovery. This morning, June 10th, 2025, 7 months after his accident, Joseph Phillips was discharged from the Queens Nassau Rehabilitation Traumatic Brain Injury Unit to his home here in Brooklyn. There is no doubt that the power of prayer fueled his recovery. God's mercy and grace was all over his healing, and Joseph is aware that a symphony of prayer surrounded him. Words cannot express our gratitude to CSC, and I submit this testimony with a full heart. Thank you, Prayer Champions, on behalf of our entire family, for praying with and for us all, especially for my brother, Joseph Phillips. And so one of the things that we do in our healing prayer, if you're not seeking healing, then we invite you to hold the space, right? And to hold the space for that, because we recognize that there are so many people in our community, connected to our community, that are in need of prayer. We did not know specifically about Joseph Phillips, until the prayer request was submitted. But we recognize that the vibration of prayer, the weekly prayer, the monthly prayer, was absolutely surrounding him and speaking to the cells in his body and operating through the doctors and surgeons and nurses and all of the caregivers. And so I invite you here and now, if you are in need of healing, to move into a place of receptivity. You can just open your hands and close your eyes and place yourself into that space of receptivity. And if you would like to hold space, as we know the truth that healing is and is happening right here and now, then I invite you to rub your hands together, creating heat in your hands, and then hold your hands forward towards your screen or device, however you happen to be watching, or just in the space where you are, because we're all connected. The energy connects and binds us all. And I invite everyone right here and right now to take a deep breath in. And we exhale. Again, we take a conscious breath in and a conscious breath out. Sinking deeper in mind, we breathe in and we breathe out. In this moment, I am grateful for the breath. I'm grateful for the breath because it is the reminder of the constant, permanent availability of good. Just as I did not have to fight you for my breath and you did not have to fight me for my breath, so I do not have to fight you for healing and you do not have to fight me for healing. So there is more than enough for each and every one of us, each and every soul, each and every being to receive all that we need and plenty more left over. And so it is out of this awareness that we step into the mode of prayer. Let us move on up a little higher. There is only one mind, only one power, only one presence that is working in all, through all, and as all. There is one life. That life is Mother, Father, God. And that life, it is perfect. It is whole and it is complete. It is undivided. And that life is my life now. That God life is your life now. That holy life is our life now. That life is the life of all. It is the life of every river and tree, every plant, every insect, every animal. It is the life of every soul, every child and every adult and everyone in between. It is the life of all, and it is our life now. And what I love about the reality of this presence and what I love to affirm week in and week out, day in and day out, is that God neither comes nor goes. This life neither comes nor goes. It is right here, right now. That means that wherever we are in our experience, God is right there. That means that wherever we are in our emotions, God is right there. That means wherever we are in our thoughts, God is right there. That means wherever we are in our bodies, God is right there. For God is always right here and right now. The fullness, the allness of God. That means that the space that I occupy right here and right now is a God spot. That means that the space that you occupy right here and right now is a God spot. That means that the connection that connects each and every one of us through this beautiful technology is God technology. It is a God spot. And so as we recognize that there is no spot where God is not, as we recognize that God neither comes nor goes, we recognize our very own presence. For what is true is that we live, move, and have our being in God, and God lives, moves, and has its expression in, through, and as us. What God is in the large, we are in the small. That means that we have great power. That means that we have great possibility. That means that we are worthy. That means that we are sinless. That means that we are healed now. Yes. And so from this place of awareness, I now speak the words of healing and words of faith and expectancy, knowing that healing is happening right here and right now. Just as we know and can take operating from faith to faith and see and know that Joseph Phillips has moved out of the traumatic brain injury unit and is back in his home in Brooklyn. And just as we know that the healing that happened in, through, and as his body, it is available to all right here and right now. We accept it. We say yes to it right now. Healing is here and it is happening right here and right now. Yes. Oh, I am so grateful and thankful for the power of healing. For what we recognize and know to be true is that healing is not the asking or allowing of something that is miraculous or unnatural to life, but it is absolutely natural. For what is happening is the perfect blueprint is realigning. So right here and right now, I command every cell to listen to the blueprint. I command every activity of your body to listen to the perfect blueprint of God that formed you in your mother's womb and is bringing all of those faculties and facilities back online easily and effortlessly. There's a great reset happening right here and right now. Oh, there's a reset in your mind happening right here and right now. There's a reset in your cells happening right here and right now. There's a reset happening in your feet, and it's moving up from your feet to your ankles. And there's a reset that's happening from your ankles, and it's moving to your calves. And there's a reset that's happening in your calves, and it's moving on up to your knees and to your thighs and to the bones of your bodies and to the muscles of your body and every joint. It is moving up. There's a great reset in every organ and organ system. There's a great reset that is happening all through and out this form, this beautiful form that you inhabit called your human body. Right here and right now, it is resetting back to that perfect blueprint. It is resetting and aligning back into that perfect blueprint that knows who and what you are in truth. So we say yes to healing. We say yes to the coming back online of that perfect blueprint. We say yes, and we know it is. We affirm, I am healed now. 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 We affirm, I am healed now. I am healed now. I am healed now. And so from this place of awareness, I now release this prayer. I release it back into the law, which is always in operation, responding and becoming according to the pattern of thought that we provide. We have turned our full attention to the perfect blueprint. Therefore, that is what life will show us. Therefore, that is what must come into being. So this life-supporting, life-giving, creative, and powerful word of truth that has been spoken, it will manifest. It will demonstrate in perfect ways in divine timing, and we are grateful for it. From this place of gratitude, I now release this prayer, and together we lift up our voices and we say, Amen.
Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is, and so it must be. I love Healing Sunday. And again, we look forward to hearing from you all and hearing how these prayers continue to move in through and as your lives. And please continue to share, because it's wonderful what hearing these moments and demonstration of faith do to ignite the faith of everyone else. So if you've been thinking, oh, nobody needs to hear about that, or, oh, it's not that important, I'm telling you, somebody just heard about Joseph Phillips today, and that's the thing that they needed to support them or support a family member. And so you really never know how you sharing your prosperity report impacts the life of another. So we are in masterclass mode, and as we are in masterclass mode, I want to put this question up on the screen. Many of you have already answered it. But a win for the week, as we are naming those things that we desire and seeing those things come into being. What's one good thing that happened this week, big or small, that reminds you that you're right on track? And so you can pop that into the comments. You can also scroll through the comments, because you will see that there are many people that have already shared some wonderful things that are happening. And again, this is a wonderful way, as you hear the good that is happening in the community, as you hear the good that is happening in the lives of others, you recognize that this same good is available for you and to you. So as you continue to do that, we are in chapter 4.
Wow, y'all, we are moving through. This is week 4.
Yes, we are in chapter 4. And this 3-part section, we're learning to create our prosperity mentally first. Mm-hmm. So last week we talked about doing that in writing, creating it mentally first. Today we're going to talk about how to create our prosperity mentally first in pictures. Okay. The second way to create your prosperity mentally is by picturing it. The picturing power of the mind is now being rediscovered by psychologists who say that imagination is one of our strongest mind powers. Yet the picturing power of the mind is one of the oldest devices known to humanity for getting what we want. Prehistoric humanity carved on the walls of their cave pictures of the food they hoped to obtain. They believed that as they looked at those pictures, often an unseen power would bring the food near them in the form of game, fish, or fowl. And this is actually an ancient practice that's very interesting The term for it, I want to put it here on the screen, is called a magico-religious practice. And what's interesting about this practice is it was used as a form of divination, not only by drawing things on the walls to call them into being, but also using the pictures to remove things. And so we recognize that humanity has always used this power of picturing in powerful ways for demonstration. Later, the ancient Egyptians, or Kemetic people, used the picturing power of the mind in their tombs. As soon as a child of royalty was born, a tomb was started for him. On the walls of that tomb were painted pictures of his life up to his death. The pictures showed all the experiences he could desire throughout his life, winning wars, living a happy, victorious life. The Egyptians, or Kemetic people, expected these pictured events to come to pass in the life of the royal child. 2,400 years ago, during the Golden Age of Greece, the cultured Grecians used this mental law and surrounded prospective mothers with beautiful pictures and statuary in order that the unborn child might receive health and beauty from the mother's mind pictures. Prenatal psychologists are now rediscovering this technique. Absolutely, right? This is something that's very wonderful. And it's actually very important for parents, whether you're expecting or seeking to expect, or even if you just have a young child, to begin to surround yourself and that child with beautiful pictures that represent health and beauty and happiness, radiant health, all of these attributes of prosperity is actually very, very important. And so it's true in the prenatal stage. It's also true once the child comes into being.
You know, the other interesting thing about this is we're actually already doing that now in our social media feeds, by what we see every day, what we post every day.
You're teaching.
Right? We think we got to go to a vision board somewhere, or we have to, as they did in the ancient times, create this tomb of our images. But we actually consciously or unconsciously do that every day. What are you liking and sharing? What are you constantly scrolling through? So don't just wait for your vision board. If you look back at your timeline, it will tell you what you think and what you are accepting into your consciousness.
Yep, you've heard me say it 1,000 times. Every Facebook post is a prayer. And so it's important to think about that before we post. Like, am I praying this? Do I want to bring this into being? Do I want to reinforce this? Right? Because that's what you're paying attention to. That's what you're tuning God power to. Right? That's so deep. I love that. I really, really, really love that. Because that is our modern expression of it. Thousands of years from now, someone will write about our time and say, they used to have this thing called social media, and then, right?
And they were always constantly affirming and praying.
The power of pictures. Instead of fighting problems, picture your way out of them. The picturing power of the mind turns your rethinking from I cannot have this or it will never happen to me to hope, belief, and finally to the mental acceptance that it can happen to me and it will happen to me. We talked in the previous chapter about the substance of the universe, gold dust, which waits for us to mold it through our thoughts, words, and acts. We mold this substance into tangible, definite results through pictures. We hasten our good by picturing it. Generalities do not produce results because they lack substance and power. Vague hopes and indefinite goals are not convincing to the mind, whereas a clear-cut picture of the good we want activates people, places, and events to cooperate with our pictured desires.
Vague hopes, indefinite goals, or conflicting goals. Because one minute you're saying you want this, and then the next minute you're saying you want that. Right? It's all that same energy of picturing.
And the other thing here, there's an image that I had in my mind because I love always talking about the mold and understanding that substance fills the mold that we provided, right? And she says, generalities do not produce results because they lack substance and power. So think about this. If you had cake batter, right? Just cake batter sitting in a bowl cannot produce results. It once it fills a mold, it's placed in a proper mold and put in the oven, absolutely. But what a lot of people are doing, and maybe some of you watching right here and right now, you have cake batter, right? You're reading text, you may even be affirming something, but you might be back and forth, as BY just talked about. And so you're general in the sense of there's no definiteness and there's no true intention behind it. And so it's not convincing to the mind.
You might not even gotten to the point of cake batter. You might just have ingredients.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
You might have a whole library full of books that you have not, you might have read them, but you haven't integrated them. You haven't brought them in to make a batter yet.
Lord have mercy. A distraught housewife complained that her husband had been promised a job transfer and promotion for 3 years. Because of company politics, apparently he had been sidetracked. Pleading with the boss, prayer, and other methods simply had not worked. A job with the company was open in this couple's home state, and they had requested a transfer to that job. Another couple was equally anxious to be transferred into the first couple's present location. In both instances, the requests for transfer had been turned down, and the job vacancies remained unfulfilled. I suggested to this frustrated wife that she get busy picturing herself and her husband back in their home state among relatives and friends, that she make out a moving list of all the things she would have to do before they could move, that she get travel folders with colorful pictures depicting her home state and look at those folders often. In her meditation, she was to live mentally in the desired situation, seeing her husband happy in his new job and seeing them together as they enjoyed the tropical scenes of their home state. She tried it, and for a number of weeks, nothing happened. Then one day, her husband received a phone call from the big boss, who said he was moving them back to their home state and moving the other couple who had requested it into her husband's present location. The boss had previously said no to these very requests. This woman proved that one can picture a thing and bring it about rather than try to force it through in some outer way. I want you to write these 3 words down: visualize, normalize, materialize. See, what she did is she moved through the process. What she had been doing is interesting when Catherine Ponder says that pleading with the boss, prayer, and other methods simply had not worked. What she was doing was still focusing on the problem, right? So she was keeping the energy of the problem instead of being a solution finder, as Abraham Hicks says, right? And turning to the solution. And so what Catherine Ponder invited her to do was to visualize and then normalize it. Make it so it becomes matter of fact. And you start to live in that reality. It must come into being. And then you materialize and then you demonstrate. That is how the law always works. Everything in your life right now, there was a time that you did not have it and you wanted it. Everything in your life right now, there's a time that you weren't experiencing it and you want it to. It's normal now. Yes. So that means the things that you want in the future, you have to normalize them, and then they become matter of fact, inevitable. Visualize, normalize, materialize.
I love that. Please write that down. And you notice she didn't just visualize it once.
Yes.
She kept visualizing it. See, sometimes we get into this place where if it hasn't shown up right away, and whatever right away means, because if it ain't shown up, it doesn't mean it's not going to. It just means it's not here yet. And so we get in that place where we're like, well, where is it? Well, why isn't it here? What that's doing, that's not focusing on what you want. That's focusing on the absence of what you want. And she talks about it. She didn't it didn't just happen.
Right.
But she kept. She normalized it. Right? How
picturing heals. A secretary was concerned over reports that her favorite young nephew would have to undergo brain surgery in a few days. She decided to make a Wheel of Fortune as a means of picturing him whole. And I love that we're reading this on Healing Sunday.
I know, isn't that perfect?
She used a file folder that she could carry with her through the day. In this folder, which served as her Wheel of Fortune, she pasted recent pictures of her nephew, taken when he had been happy and well. Under his picture, she wrote, "You express radiant health." On the inside of the folder at the top, she wrote, "Miracle healings happen now, just as in Bible times." Near his picture, she wrote, "Billy, you are sound in mind, body, and affairs." At the bottom of the folder, "Thank you, God, for restoring Billy." Somewhere on her Wheel of Fortune, she taped these words, "A joyful day is at hand." And it was. The next report she got was from Billy himself, a note in which he said that he felt great, had been released from the hospital without surgery, and had just returned from a hunting trip. Later, she learned that when further tests had been made prior to the scheduled surgery, the previously detected tumor had disappeared. The interesting thing is that once the secretary made the Wheel of Fortune picturing her nephew whole, all concern about his condition left her. Picturing him
Ding, 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 ding.
whole had given her a wonderful sense of peace. Then came the good news from Billy himself. So this is a teaching lesson on how we hold healing and how we must hold when a loved one is moving through a health challenge. And if you need support, then you can use this picturing idea, right? Of seeing that loved one, grabbing a picture. And I've used this in my own life. I've shared a story, and I think I shared this in the intro to Affirmative Prayer class, which that class is available on YouTube. I talked about how when my sister was in labor, giving birth to my niece, that was 12 years ago. She had a lot of complications. It was scary. It was touch and go. And I remembered that my mind was first going down the worst case scenario. I'd say it all the time because it's literally how my imagination was working. I saw my brother-in-law as a widower, and it was just sad and pitiful and terrible. And I came to myself and said, wait a minute, what am I doing, right? What do I know to be true? I'm misusing my superpower of imagination. And so then I began to shift. And I wrote a prayer, an affirmative prayer that put the focus of my attention on seeing her healed and whole, and seeing Nia, my niece, born and living and thriving. And I had to completely turn and picture that. I could see the images in my mind, and the words that I used in the prayer helped me do that. This is another way to do that, because what's necessary is for you to get to peace.
And that's why I was like, ding, 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 ding. Right? Because so many times we're so outwardly focused that we lose our peace.
And then we start doing things from desperation.
And then we start operating from desperation.
Yeah. And that ain't it. That ain't it. How picturing worked for the author's son. At one time, I lectured extensively in Southern California and learned to love the area. Upon returning home to Texas, I talked with my son about the tropical beauty of Southern California, its strong metaphysical atmosphere, and its thriving prosperity. He became fascinated with the possibility of living there. While still in high school, he made a Wheel of Fortune for that purpose. On this Wheel of Fortune, for which he used a big piece of poster board, he placed pictures of himself surrounded by pictures of Southern California, at the beach, playing golf by a palm tree in the desert, wearing colorful tropical clothes, with friends, driving on the freeways, and so forth. When he made his California Wheel of Fortune, I assumed it might work out for him to attend college in that state. For many months, he kept his pictured desires in his room, where he viewed them nightly just before going to bed. Finally, he put the pictures away. A couple of years later, he decided to enlist in the Air Force. When he came home on leave from basic training, he said excitedly, "Guess what part of the country I've been assigned to?" I have no idea. Of course you have. I'm going to Southern California. I'm the only recruit in hundreds from my basic training class who got that base. His entire group had been scheduled to go to bases in the North or Midwest, but before they reached his name on the alphabetical listing, those bases were all filled. Along with others, he waited for several hours while his commanding officer tried to locate another base for him. When his orders finally came in, they read, March Air Force Base, Riverside, California. That was only the beginning. Upon arriving in Southern California, Richard was soon playing golf in the desert, driving up and down the freeways, going to the beach, and making new friends, all as pictured on his Wheel of Fortune 2 to 3 years before. One night, 6 months later, he called me and said, "Do you remember that sports car I had on my California Wheel of Fortune, the pretty blue one?" Of course I do, and that was one item you never did get. That's why I'm calling, to tell you I'm now driving that car. Not on an airman's income, you're not. Mother, think back to that Wheel of Fortune. Don't you remember that the blue sports car had a blonde in it? I'm dating that blonde. She has the blue sports car, and I'm driving it. That one Wheel of Fortune has proved to me that imagination gives you the ability to rise above time and space and overcome all limitations in your life. In due time, my own pictures of Southern California brought results, and I have had the pleasure of living here for some years now. Why pictures may not work immediately. Many people have become discouraged when a Wheel of Fortune does not work immediately. For vast changes that will have far-reaching effects, it usually takes time for the pictured good to be absorbed by the subconscious feeling nature. When it is, those pictures begin materializing. This is important. I'm sure many, if not all of you, have created vision boards in your life or some type of vision board or Wheel of Fortune. And it's important to know that it does take time for your subconscious to absorb certain ideas, right? Just as it took time for your subconscious to absorb the ideas that you now want to replace, right?
Right. And that's why it's so important to do the release work so that you're creating the space for your subconscious mind to accept these new ideas.
Create the vacuum.
You got to create the vacuum first,
What just talk, y'all? Yes,
right?
yes.
There's a lot of people out there vision boarding, but their mind is full. Their subconscious mind, which is the receptive center, is full of what they no longer want, no longer desire, or weren't even allowed to desire, right? And so we gotta empty it,
Yep.
keep emptying it, and keep making space.
Yep. I once had a friend who lived in the Midwest. She and her husband wanted to move to Florida, and they made a Wheel of Fortune for that purpose. Within a year, they were living in Florida, but it was 4 years before the home, the right jobs for both of them, their boat, and new friends shown on their Wheel of Fortune appeared. The pictured good comes to pass as fast as the subconscious mind can accept it, and that's a loving process.
Right. Because many times we want all these things, but we're not ready for them. We're not mentally, spiritually ready for them.
Remember those questions from the writing chapter last week? In those 3 lists, what do I want to eliminate? What do I want? And what am I grateful for? And she talked about not only are these desires ethical, but are you actually really ready for them?
Are you ready for it? I mean, I know we are, right? I got things that I want, and I'm like, oh, am I really ready to whatever? And if I'm honest, I'm like, well, if I were, it would be here.
Yep.
And if I'm not, that's okay, because that means the universe in all its infinite wisdom and grace is giving me the space to become receptive.
Yep. The pictured good may seem so different from past or present experiences that it takes time for the subconscious to absorb it. This is where persistence pays off. On one of my lecture trips in Southern California, I once had the pleasure of dining with Dr. Ernest Wilson in his lovely home in the Hollywood Hills. Founder of Christ Church Unity in Los Angeles, Dr. Wilson explained how the picturing power of the mind had worked for him to manifest his Hill House. Years ago, when he first settled in Los Angeles, his office had been in the Midtown area. From his desk, he would look out the window to the Hollywood Hills and think, that is where I want to build a home and live someday. He had a number of homes in the interim, but he persisted in holding to that pictured desire, and one day it materialized. If the good you have pictured has not come about, it may be because you have cluttered your mind with too many pictures or that you have stipulated too much for the present. As you clarify your desires and picture what you need most, this opens the way for it to come, often quickly. Again, this is the beautiful thing. This is why we work with our list daily. This is why it's a living document. This is why we're going to remove things and add things. And it starts to, things start to shrink, right? And it starts to come into focus in a different way. So it's possible that you've cluttered your mind with pictures, right? Or you've stipulated too much for the present. You want everything right now. And that's just not how it works.
And, as I think about the evolving nature of my desires, there are things that I wanted. I still want a home, but where it is and what it looks like has changed, right? And that's important, that I allow the grace and the space for it to change.
Yep. A businesswoman needed a car. She also wished to remarry. She had made a Wheel of Fortune showing a man driving a car. Nothing happened until she began to picture only the car she needed without the man in it. Then a relative wrote to her saying she wished to dispose of a car she owned and asked this woman to accept it as a gift. Since she had just entered a new profession, which she was still learning, the time was not right for her to concentrate on a new marriage too. Once she had clarified that in her mental pictures, what she needed quickly appeared, right? And so again, Be honest with yourself. There was nothing wrong with the desire to get married. But actually, when she was honest with herself, she's like, wait, with this
Right.
career and what I have going on, I'm not going to be able to focus on a relationship. And then if the relationship went south, then you're mad at the universe and mad at God for giving you something and it didn't work out. Right? New business comes through picturing it. A housewife made a wheel of fortune for her husband. He had been working overtime the year round in a field of work that no longer interested him. On her wheel of fortune, she pictured a lovely swimming pool, large lawn, and terrace area. Also, they discussed their desire to have a business in which they would work only 6 months a year rather than 12. Then came illness and financial setbacks, and they forgot their pictured desires temporarily. As he was regaining his health, the husband said he had no intention of returning to his 18-hour job, and now was the time to find that 6-month-a-year employment. Together, they affirmed that a job he would enjoy was becoming available to him immediately. 3 days later, his wife saw an ad in the paper about a business that was available for lease or sale. Investigation revealed that this business consisted of a swim park, which would be open to the public for swimming and other recreational enjoyment 6 months a year. This was the type of business operation they had long wanted and had pictured on their Wheel of Fortune. I just want to say this right now. One of the things that happens when you declare something like that 6 months a year, what you're starting to do is you shut off your mind to all of these other things, and you can clearly see as you're looking at ads, as you're scrolling, all of a sudden that which you desire just pops out almost automatically where you wouldn't have seen it before because you had not written it down, because you had not created a picture, because you had not set the intention. So that's what setting the intention does. It's almost like if you had a telescope, it's like focusing in the telescope in that one direction where you have it pointed, and now it's crystal clear. If you turn the telescope somewhere else, right, then you're going to see what's over there. And this is part of that cluttered mind piece, right? Where
Absolutely.
folks are moving their telescope. But if you set your telescope and focus it and keep it in that one direction, inevitably you're going to see what it is that you want to see.
And there was enough of a picture. They didn't say we want a swimming park, right? A business that we can operate, a business that we would enjoy, that we could operate for 6 months out of the year, right? And then based on everything else they already desired, right, the focus narrowed into the thing that they really wanted.
Yep.
But if they had said a swimming park, because the subconscious mind would have been looking for specific instances of that thing,
Yep.
it might have taken a bit longer to materialize. But because they were open, they had enough detail, right? They didn't say blah, 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 and it has to be here, and it has to. They had enough detail where they could keep themselves in the joy of picturing it.
Yeah. And they trusted life. They trust God. They trust the universe, right? This or something better. And if you don't believe that they trust this next sentence, though he had no capital, the man was able to borrow the money needed to lease the business for a year with an option to purchase later. So they set their intention and had no money and were desiring something that most people don't think is possible.
Right.
You can't work 6 months out of the year. What are you talking about?
Right.
Right. It reminds me of the two of us as I read this, because that's how we started CSC. Right? Everything in the external world said, what are you doing? Like, y'all shouldn't be doing this right now. You don't have the funds. You don't have this. You don't have that. You just got an eviction notice. How are you going to start a spiritual center that you believe will impact the world and impact thousands of lives? Right? But we understand this process.
Right. And we stayed in the joy of the idea.
And let it unfold as it
And
would.
let it unfold, and it unfolded actually quickly, right? And beautifully. And here we are
Yes, yes.
in the same apartment,
Yes, yes.
right?
Yes, yes. Though he had no capital, the man was able to borrow the money needed to lease the business for a year with an option to purchase later. During the first year in the new business, he lost $5,000 in its operation, yet felt he still wanted to buy it. When he was unable to come to terms with the owner, the business was sold to someone else.
Lord, y'all.
But instead of becoming discouraged, he felt so strongly that this was his divinely designed business that he said to his wife, "Honey, don't worry because someone else bought it. We have put many hours of love and work into its improvement. During the year, we leased it, so it's really ours. I feel this so completely that I'll just continue picturing it as belonging to us." And he did. Meanwhile, he pictured the complete operation of the business, even to the employees and their duties.
That is so us.
He made a list of the proper ways to render service as well as improved methods of operation. He also pictured himself owning surrounding vacant property. He did all this at a time when another man owned the business. Then one day it happened. The new owner contacted him, asked his advice, and confided that he wished to dispose of the business in order to buy another one. Further discussions brought them to financial terms, and the sale was closed. The man who had pictured all this got out his list of improvements and went into action to hire the employees he had previously visualized. Not only did this man get what he wanted through picturing, but everyone involved profited. First, the owner sold the property at a good profit. The second owner then disposed of the property and thereby was able to acquire the property he really wanted. The man doing the picturing, who became the third owner, was able to buy the property at the price and on the terms that were right for him. I highlighted that because this is another one of those principles. It reminds me of Think and Grow Rich, right? I will engage in no transaction that does not mutually benefit all whom it affects. This is one of the hallmarks of prosperity. Right? It's never that which you desire and that which you receive. You're never the sole beneficiary. Right? I've also shared this other prosperity secret, and sort of manifestation secret, that which you desire, you should always think about how will it benefit others? Because when you can see the ways in which it benefits more than just you, that actually speeds up the process. He was later able to buy surrounding property as pictured. He has since had a thriving business which provided for him and his family far more adequately than his previous job had. He proved the power of pictures. Now, Catherine Ponder is reading your mind as you heard the story. If you were wondering whether this man had the right to picture this property as his when it belonged to someone else, remember a great truth. The word desire means of the Father, which she wrote in the previous chapter. As you dare to picture God-given desires, everyone involved is blessed and guided into their highest good. So to the extent that you're picturing in this case, it was still about the highest good. Again, engaging in no transaction that does not mutually benefit all whom it affects. And so stealing from someone wouldn't be mutually beneficial, right? So it has to operate in that highest and best. And we see how every person involved benefited in the right way for each of them.
Absolutely.
Also, remember that the action of the mind is to picture. If you are not constantly picturing what you want in a constructive way, you are unconsciously picturing what you do not want in a destructive way and continue to hold problems to you. So the other thing that this man was doing in a constructive and beautiful way was not focusing on the problem, right? He was able to use that time when he wasn't the owner to picture in a constructive way, because otherwise he would have been down on himself. He would have been complaining. He would have been like, what's wrong with me? Why was I thinking I could do something like this? You silly man.
Absolutely.
Right.
This is so important and so powerful. It's not, if you're not consciously picturing what you want in a constructive way. Now, sometimes we think by worrying about something, by using the power of our mind to think through what we think are the options, we're creating in a constructive way. We are not.
Yeah. Yep. Say it.
We are not creating in a constructive way. We are using the imagination, the power of our mind to do some destructive creation. Because you're worrying. And how do you know if it's constructive? Do you feel good when you think about it? Right. Does it bring you joy? In the middle of all this stuff happening, he still was in the joy of creating what he wanted. Now, if you've been creating destructively, forgive yourself and set yourself free. The moment you realize it doesn't feel good the way I'm thinking about XYZ, stop. Stop. What could I think in this moment that would make me feel good about where I am in my life?
Yeah.
That's what I call a love-based question.
Absolutely.
You can ask fear-based questions. Why is this happening to me? When is it, or how long is it going to take? And all those kinds of things. In his case, why did somebody else buy my business? He didn't think that. He was using the power of his mind to think and ask love-based questions. How can I think about this business and plan for its future? What kind of employees would I love to have here?
Yep. Yep.
You see the difference?
Right.
Fear-based questions would never put you in joy. They will keep you worried and fear and doubt about what's possible for you, and they will shut it down completely.
Judgment and criticism. You'll feel guilty. It's
Yep.
full of shame.
Yep.
All of that.
All of that.
Right. And the thing is, the way that the law works, right? Because the law just works. Just as she talks about here, you can picture constructively or destructively. Either way, you're going to receive results. Every
way.
question is answered. If it's a love-based question, it will be answered. If it's a fear-based question,
Absolutely.
it will be answered.
And that's the beauty of it, because we don't realize how powerful our minds are until we start to look at the kinds of questions we're asking of the universe. We're always in conversation, and the universe is always responding, not to judge you, not to test you or torture you, but it can only respond to what you ask.
And that's its nature to respond.
It responds.
Right.
If I sat up here and said, well, why is this taking so long? Well, then guess what I would get? All the reasons why it's taking so long. And it probably because of the way I'm thinking about it, why it's taking so long, right? Or I can say, how can I be in the joy of creating this and allow it to come to me easily? You see the difference in energy and tone and feeling? Make sure you're asking love-based questions of whatever it is. I don't care what the issue is, what the challenge is, what the problem is. Frame it in a way that makes you feel good to ask the universe the question.
Yeah.
And that you're not afraid. Oh man, why is this happening? Oh, why? Those questions will constrict your energy, and everything else around you will follow. Again, not because God and the universe is testing you,
Absolutely.
but because it has no choice but to respond to you and the questions you ask.
Yep. Yep. Deliberately picturing the good you want is the way to overcome all problems. Casual picturing brings results. Casual but definite picturing also pays off, but usually not as fast. A realtor who had learned of the power of picturing wanted to own certain duplex apartments, which were for sale. Though he had been unable to arrange financing, he began spending some time every day in meditation, picturing himself as the owner of the apartments. While he was negotiating a loan on other properties one day, a wealthy benefactor learned of his desire to own the apartments and quickly agreed to arrange the financing. This amazed the realtor, who had not previously considered approaching this man since the latter was financing so many of his other business deals. As a little girl, I often longed for a birthstone ring in the shape of a heart. I was born on Valentine's Day.
I love the Catherine Ponder.
But I had never mentioned my desire to anyone since my childhood had been far from affluent. Several decades after my childhood picturing, I received a long-distance call from a woman I had never seen. She said that after studying one of my books, she had inherited a sizable estate. A part of the legacy was a mansion filled with valuable antiques, silver, and jewelry. She said that in appreciation for my writings, she wished to share with me something from her inheritance. The thought had come often, she said, to give me a certain ring. Rather timidly, she said, "You may not care for it because it's only an amethyst, which is not an expensive stone." I found myself saying, "An amethyst? Why, I've wanted an amethyst for years. That's my birthstone." "Yes, but you might not want this one. It's different. It's in the shape of a heart." While I tried to find words, she explained that the ring had been part of a valuable art collection which had come down through the generations as a cherished possession. Through the ethers and over many miles and many years later, a person I had never seen tuned in on my pictured childhood desire and made me a gift of my rather unusual wish, an amethyst ring in the shape of a heart. It was beautiful, and I have worn it as a reminder of the picturing power of the mind.
And they both received, right? The woman wanted to give Catherine Ponder something for inspiring her. And Catherine Ponder had always wanted this thing. She didn't push it and force. She didn't say if I was worthy of this ring, it would materialize. She just lightly placed it out there. And she felt the energy of, oh, this feels good. I would love to have this. And they both received what they wanted.
What about inheritance of prosperity? When I talk about people demonstrating prosperity through inheritance, there are always some self-righteous protests. But I don't want to demonstrate prosperity through inheritance. Why not? If the soul of a person is going to pass on anyway, why shouldn't you benefit from it? Someone will. It is rather presumptuous to think your prayers for prosperity or your pictures of it would cause a person to die, just so your desires could come true.
Yeah, that's not how
All
it
right. So
works.
first of all, hear that, receive that. Somebody
Yes.
needs to hear that, right? You're not causing someone's death. The spirit of a person passes from this earth plane through soul choice. They draw to them the experience, the circumstances and events appropriate for their passing, according to their innermost nature and accumulated karma. The most your pictures for prosperity could do would be to influence them to arrange their financial affairs to benefit you at the time when they pass on. But to think your desires for greater good would take them from this earth plane just to benefit you is rather far-fetched.
And right. I feel like somebody needs to hear that, or multiple people need to hear. Prosperity can come in all kinds of ways, and you're not causing the demise of someone else because this is the one of the ways it comes.
Right.
You're not. That's just not the way it works.
A good rule of thought to follow is simply to picture your desired good, then let it come as, when, and through whom it may. If the most natural, normal channel is an inheritance, then accept it. Right? And so then that also means that it's probably helpful for you to clear your mind of thoughts about inheritance and what it means and family fighting and all of that stuff. It doesn't have to mean
It
any of
does not
that.
have to mean any of that,
Right?
or any guilt, or any shame, or any of that stuff. Please clear your mind of all of that. Right? Same thing for people that receive large sums of money in all kinds of ways, lawsuits,
Right.
whatever.
Yep.
We're not saying go out and do that. We're
Right.
saying that if it comes to you in that way, then you got to be receptive to actually enjoy the benefit of it. There's so many ways in which prosperity can come to us, not just financial, but in this case, that's exactly right. So many ways it can come. Don't just limit it, or don't feel guilty when it shows up.
Right. A businesswoman learned of the picturing power of the mind and decided to use it to demonstrate $10,000. Every day for a little while, she took a $10,000 bill in play money, held it in her hand, looked at it, and declared, $10,000 now comes to me in God's own way for my personal use, and I use it wisely. She continued this picturing process daily for several months. One day, her attorney informed her that she had inherited $10,700 from her mother's estate. She has since gone on to increase prosperity through a better job, but that $10,000 proved a tremendous blessing to her. She certainly has not condemned herself for the way in which it manifested. She pictured it, claimed it, and then the way opened for it to manifest in God's own way, which in this instance was through inheritance.
And I love that, in God's own way. And she also says a lot of times, in perfect peace and ease. Like there's all kinds of things you can add to that to make it feel good to receive.
Yeah. And I love that, and I use it wisely. Right?
And I use it wisely. If you have any, this is a good one to put on your elimination list. If you got any beliefs about how you've used money in the past or misused money in the past, you need to write those on your elimination list and get rid of those. Because you will always still have that fear in the back of your mind that I don't know what to do with money. I don't know how to manage money. And you might have had a whole bunch of things that you unconsciously believed that caused you to spend your money in ways that weren't wise. But now you can change that, right? You got to write those things down. Don't be like, if I just won the lottery. But if you still got this unwise way of using the funds, it won't matter.
Picturing resolves family problems. You can picture good for others and help bring it about. Some people are afraid to do this, though they think nothing of continuing to picture problems for others through their fears, worry, and negative talk. Did you know that? Through your fears, worry, and negative talk, you're misusing your picturing power. You're misusing the imaging law. You're misusing your superpower of imagination. You are constantly picturing for yourself and for others either something good or something bad. How much more constructive it is deliberately to picture something good for others rather than to continue picturing problems for them. The parents of a young girl were very concerned because she had vowed she would not go to college. Her steady date was a high school dropout. The situation looked bleak until her mother made a wheel of fortune, picturing her daughter's happy, normal future. On the wheel, she placed pictures of a well-adjusted girl happily attending college. She even dared to stipulate in words and pictures that her daughter would successfully finish college. There were pictures of college friends, too. Saying nothing to anyone, the mother began daily to look at the pictures, and she immediately relaxed and felt better about her daughter.
See, again, it's her mind that needed the ease.
Within a matter of weeks, the daughter, then a high school senior, announced she had decided to attend college for 1 year, just to see what it would be like, she explained. The mother smiled with a sigh of relief. During her first year away at school, the girl's world expanded so much that she lost interest in her hometown beau, the dropout, who then dropped out of her life. Toward the end of her freshman year, she announced she wished to continue in college the following year and did so. While a sophomore, she met a new boyfriend, and they were soon speaking of marriage. In their senior year, well on the way to graduation and with future jobs assured, they married. The husband is a high school coach, and the wife teaches in the same school. All of this happened thanks to a mother who knew the power of picturing and did something constructive about it. And one of the things that I believe, without actually seeing the mother's Wheel of Fortune, in a situation like this, it's important that you hold it lightly, as PY says, right? Because while she pictured her going to college, it could have played out differently in the sense of maybe she didn't choose to go to college right away, or she could have still, moved away from the problematic boyfriend in a different way. So I think the specificity was there and it played out there. But I think, as she says so beautifully, the mother being able to use the picturing power to find peace is really what
it was all about.
What it was all about, yeah.
Right. Because the daughter still had her own desires, right? That maybe the mother didn't know anything about, or maybe she did know some of them, right? So it's really to bring peace to that person that's picturing for someone else. Because you cannot control when or how what that other person desires comes to fruition.
No. Pictures bring world travel. In chatting with a prominent church layman who had just returned from a trip around the world, I commented on his marvelous travel consciousness. He said, "It's all my wife's fault. She made a Wheel of Fortune for traveling around the world and placed it on the bedroom door where we would see it every day. That was several years ago, and we've already been around the world 3 times. We don't have that kind of money, but we have friends who do. They keep inviting us along as their guests just to keep them company. If my wife doesn't remove that Wheel of Fortune from the bedroom door, we'll probably just continue going around the world." Recently, this couple took another trip abroad. In modern times, we have heard much about improving our image. Picturing the kind of life you truly wish to live is a great way to improve your image and help it manifest. Cities often use picturing power for master planning. They employ specialists whom they call master planners. A news bulletin recently stated that a certain city had been refused federal funds to assist its expansion because the city had no master plan. One might wonder how often many of us have been refused the funds, the aid we needed from the realm of universal substance because we had no master plan through which mind power, gold dust, or substance could manifest as greater good in our life. This is a teaching moment. It teaches on a bunch of levels. You could, for those of you who are entrepreneurs, you should think about this. And for all of us in our individual lives, right? You must have a plan. Because see, if you don't have a plan, then you don't recognize it. So going back to the couple they had the desire to work 6 months a year, but if they had not been intentional and deliberate about that desire when that ad showed up, it wouldn't have meant anything to them. And that's the equivalent of refusing the funds, right? So it's because they had a master plan that then that ad made some sense to them, right? And we know everything that happened as a result of responding to that ad. But if they didn't have a master plan, as in their intention and stating what they wanted, all of that possibility would have been there and they would have not experienced it.
And I love how you said stating what they want.
Yeah.
The master plan doesn't mean you got every detail figured out. It means there's a clear intention, in their case, an agreement about what they wanted. Right? So you don't have to have every detail, but you do have to have some set intentions around it to just say, I want life to be good for me. Well, that's true. Life is always good for you. You're breathing. Life is good for you.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
But until you clearly state, how can I travel around the world and do it inexpensively, or how can I do it with ease? And how can I meet whatever the question is, but you got to have some intentions established.
Yeah. And understanding this is also then why we can emphatically state and know that God is never withholding anything from us.
Never.
God doesn't reward us and God doesn't punish us, right? We recognize that, oh, yeah, of course, I can understand this, right? The city didn't have a master plan. Why would they? There's no way for them to receive federal funds for that, right? So it really is the same for each and every one of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
As we search the pages of history, we find that many great people unconsciously used some of these creative laws of prosperity. Napoleon kept a large map before him with colored flags indicating the various moves he planned for his armies to make months in advance. He also wrote down his plans and desires. Historians say that he dictated in detail the order and length of the marches, the meeting places of the two armies, the attack, the movements of the enemy, and even the blunders he expected the enemy to make 2 months before it happened and 600 or 700 miles away from the scene.
Now, what I love about this story is not necessarily Napoleon. What I love about this is that it works for anyone that uses it. Even those historic figures that are problematic, it works for anyone that uses it. Right?
No respecter of persons. When imaging does not seem to work, an unmarried woman recently wrote, "I have been imaging a husband for myself for over a year, but nothing has happened." She described in great detail the ways she had gone about this picturing process. She also wrote of several broken romances. Perhaps there was a need for forgiveness and release in connection with those broken romances. Any of you that have worked with us one-on-one, y'all already know, right? This is always true. And I'm thinking about a few people that I've spoken with recently. I was speaking with someone a few months ago who was having some trouble in their new business. And after asking some questions, it turned out that when she was leaving her previous job to start this new business, there was a lot of stuff that happened. Lawsuits were, there was some, it was terrible. And so I recognized that the calamity that she was experiencing in her business now was the result of not having done forgiveness work before she started that new business. And so she was just bringing all of that energy into her new business. So this is what happens for many of us, right? You're like, oh, this is not working out for me. Why? I pictured it. I wrote it down. I did all of these things. Perhaps there was a need for forgiveness and release in connection with those broken romances.
Or whatever you feel, quote unquote, is broken, right? I mean, if you want a new home, for example, you gotta release the place where you are. If there's any issues with that place, you gotta do the forgiveness and the release work around that. And then here's the other piece. Mutually beneficial. You see the place where you currently are filled with somebody else who would love it as you move on to the next.
Yep,
all of those things are important.
I also had the feeling that the young woman was working too hard mentally, so that she was repelling rather than attracting her desires. She seemed to be trying mentally to force results. She's on somebody's street right now. Actually, she's sitting on your couch right now. She's in your house sitting on your couch, sipping lemonade. She seemed to be trying mentally to force results. That's not what a prosperous person does, right? So we go on. After making your wheel of fortune, work with it. Wait, did I skip the page? Oh, that is right. After making your wheel of fortune, work with it daily for a time. When you get a sense of peace about it or lose interest in it, that usually indicates you are ready to release your desires and let them work out. My son has often said, when I put my wheel of fortune in the basement, that's when it works. There comes a time to observe a Sabbath, a day of rest. Just relax. Prosperous people operate from a place of relaxation, giving your desired good the light touch. What does PY say? Hold it lightly.
Have a vision. Hold it lightly.
This is the time to let go and trust, or to let go and let God. Once the work is done on the mental plane, you can be assured your pictured good will manifest on the outer plane just as soon as the time, people, and events have arranged themselves accordingly. Such details are not up to you. This is the time to remind yourself that you have only to picture a thing and bring it through, rather than try to reason it through or force results.
Right. That's almost like you hustling and grinding for your prosperity. Right? You was out there hustling in the world, trying to make things happen. Now you're trying to force them mentally. It's that same energy. You know when it feels constricted, when you've been doing too much, pushing too hard, worrying too often.
Yep. Suggestions for making a Wheel of Fortune. I want to make sure we got to this so that everyone has this information. An engineer in Alabama designed a Wheel of Fortune which worked so well for him that he went from a mediocre job in the Deep South to a multi-million-dollar construction job in the Midwest. He used a large piece of poster board outlining a circle on it, which he divided for the various departments of his life: financial, job, family, health, etc. In each segment, he placed pictures of the good he wished in that phase of his life. Here are some further suggestions. First, keep quiet about your pictures. Y'all already know this. Hush your mouth principle.
Hush your mouth, y'all.
Do not discuss them, or more importantly, try to convince others to try this method.
That's it.
The words secret and sacred have the same root meaning. What is sacred should be secret. Second, use big, colorful poster boards if you want big, beautiful, colorful results in your life. A college professor made a small, crowded, drab, colorless Wheel of Fortune for travel abroad, and it worked. He had a crowded, drab, colorless trip.
I have worked with clients before, and they have these little bitty places where they keep their desires, little journals, because it might fit in their pockets, so it's convenient. But you need space for your desires. Don't get the smallest space you can write in to put your desires. Because to me, what that tells me is subconsciously you're like, I don't know, maybe I'll just ask for a little. Right. Find yourself a place where you can spread out and dream.
Third, use definite colors for definite results desired. According to the ancient science of color, you should use green or gold poster boards for financial wheels of fortune, for job and career success, yellow or white for increased spiritual understanding, blue for intellectual accomplishments such as writing a book or finishing studies towards a degree, orange or bright yellow for health, energy, a more vital life, pink, rose, or warm red for love, harmony, marriage, happiness, and human relationships. Color is important because color impresses the subconscious mind much faster than black and white can. Whether or not you follow the foregoing ancient color chart, be sure to use colored poster board, always a color that appeals to you emotionally. Fourth, use colored pictures rather than black and white ones on your colored poster board. A recent comment was, "Now I know why my picture good took so long to appear. I had used black and white pictures and backgrounds rather than colored ones." Fifth, do not clutter your board unless you want cluttered results.
Y'all.
Make several boards for various phases of your life, right? And I think this is so important because I know all these, people are always talking about, vision boards, and it's become sort of pop culture, and people don't understand the metaphysics behind it. People don't understand and are not teaching the principles behind it, right? Because they just watched The Secret or just heard about somebody doing it.
Or they saw somebody else making business out of vision boarding, and now they're going to do it.
Exactly. But there's principle underneath this. And so in truth, vision board parties, people making the vision board for their whole year. Okay, that's nice. But actually each board, you should make a board for a different subject, right? Make several boards for various phases of your life. A housewife recently exclaimed, "Now I know why our house is so crowded. We placed a small crowded house on our Wheel of Fortune and we got just that." Sixth, on your financial poster board, put money, not just things you want. Otherwise, you may get the things plus indebtedness. That teaches.
That teaches.
And I've experienced that, by the way.
That teaches. Yeah. There's so much intention behind all of what this means and how it works and how you should do it. And so I'm glad we're going through it so that you don't just like, I know how to do a vision board. Yeah. Everything. I remember Reverend August telling the story about somebody putting a vision board together, and she wanted a partner and she wanted them to be happy and they wanted to have a good time. And so she envisioned him with a glass in his hand. Yeah. And she ended up envisioning and creating a relationship with someone who was an alcoholic.
Yep.
So be very intentional about what you wanted and how you wanted to show up. Look at every detail. And that's the beauty of this, because in that way, that's part of your master planning, is because you're looking at it with such attention and love. You're like, I like this image, but is it really giving me everything I want? That's part of the master planning.
You can use play money, also checks on the board, right? Seventh, place a spiritual symbol on your poster board, such as a picture of the Christ, the Bible, anything that evokes that spirituality for you. This gives your desires a spiritual protection and opens the way for you to have pictured or something better to come to you. Eighth, View your wheel of fortune every day, preferably just before sleeping. The more often you view your picture desires, the quicker results will come.
And at night, because you're impressing the subconscious mind at night before you sleep, right? If your vision board is the last thing you think and not your phone and not whatever social media, if that's the last thing you see other than your love's face, that's impressing the subconscious mind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And one of the things, what's beautiful, what we know now in terms of neuroscience, as we're preparing to go to bed, as we start to wind down, what's actually happening is your brain waves are moving into the alpha state. The alpha state is where our brain waves are from 0 to 7 as children when we are most impressionable. And so you're literally already naturally in the most receptive space you can be in, right? And so you take just what's normally happening in that place of receptivity, alpha waves. You view your vision board, you read it, you go over it, right? Close your eyes and go to sleep.
And you can even say, this or something better. Amen, Ashe, and so it is. Because we want to seal it, right? We want to say, this is what I think, but there could be something better. Amen, Ashe, and so it is. It's done.
So it is.
And rest.
Yeah. So as a reminder, your assignment is to read this chapter again. Of course, your assignment is to get started on your own Wheel of Fortune. Additionally, as you have questions, as you're rereading this, or as you're rewatching this, again, you can always come back to this stream. It will also replay on Wednesdays. Send in your questions to truthsunday@celebrationsc.org. You have not because you ask not. So no one has sent us in questions, and so we can't incorporate those questions into the live stream, but we're happy to. We want to support you in clarifying your understanding. So you can send in those questions, but continue to focus on this chapter. And of course, the next week, we'll be moving forward with chapter 5, which is the third part of creating your prosperity mentally first. We've talked about writing, we've talked about pictures, and so the next will be with the spoken word.
Love it, love it, love it. Shout out to the Prosperity Circle. We love you, we see you, and we'll be chatting with you in the circle this week.
And so in this moment, it is time for giving. And what we always say and teach and continually is that as you give, you receive. And what that means is we recognize that giving is based on the law of circulation. It's a complete cycle. That when I give something, I have to open my hand. And by the act of giving, I have now made myself receptive to receiving. And PY spoke to that in the meditation today, right? So as soon as I give, I'm already in receiving mode. And as soon as I receive, I must automatically be in giving mode. And I stay in the flow. It's just like breathing, right? I breathe in, I'm receiving. When I breathe out, I give. And now I'm prepared to what? Receive again. That's all giving is really about, y'all, right? And so as spiritual people, we understand that we give where we're spiritually fed, right? That's how we operate in this space of giving. But recognizing that we know the source that we're giving from, we know that it's easy and effortless, we know that it's circulation, and we know that we're setting ourselves up for receptivity. And so as we give, then we can affirm this powerful truth. All the money that I circulate,
all the money that I circulate,
returns to me multiplied.
Returns to me multiplied.
In a never-ending cycle.
In a never-ending cycle.
Of increase.
And
enjoyment.
To
that we say amen.
Amen.
Ashe.
Ashe.
And so it is.
And so it is.
And so it is. Yes, yes.
Oh, well, this was a good chapter. I think y'all feeling it too, huh?
Yeah, I see it in the comments, which is wonderful. So we love and appreciate you. We trust that you will have an amazing remainder of your Sunday and an even better week. We trust and look forward to you joining us on Wednesday morning for the Momentum Prayer Call at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we will gather together as one big family, one big community with next Sunday, studying chapter 5 of the Masterclass and continuing to grow higher and deeper in our understanding, but most importantly, our integration and practice of these truths and these principles. Enjoy yourselves. Bye for now.
Bye for now.